Welcome back to Edge TX and ELRS for beginners. Yesterday we spoke about the different modes, so the mode 2 and the mode 3, etc. I hope you've had a chance to go away and have a play with that before you've moved on to this video. If you haven't, I'll leave a link in the corner of the video now. Please do go back to it. It's maybe something that will help you on your journey. Sometimes we can be using the sticks in a way that our brains don't think, and that video is designed to help you just have a second thought about it before you go headlong into being mode 2, which is what this is. But we digress. So today we're going to talk and we're going to have a look at packet rates, and we're also going to talk and have a look at how to update our ELRS. Yesterday we looked at the Lua script and we explained that if you've got a model that's on 2 point something and you've got a controller on 3 point something, they won't bind, so you're going to have to update them. And we're going to go through the process of how you do that today. Before we do that, I do have a special request that we talk about packet rates. Now, let's first of all go into our ELRS Lua script and see exactly what we're talking about. So at the top, we can see, let me grab a pointy thing. So at the top, where we highlighted, we can see our packet rate is 150 Hertz and our TX power is 25 milliwatt. Pilots often get this confused and they think, well, I'm flying at 500 milliwatt, so I'm never, ever going to fail safe. That's not strictly true. If you set this to 500 Hertz or 1000 Hertz, you can fail safe very, very quickly, even on ELRS. And the reason for that is the higher this is set, the lower the latency that you feel in between moving the stick and the quad moving. And there's something to be said for flying on 500 Hertz. It feels incredibly smooth if you're flying analog, because the latency of digital video transmissions mean you're not necessarily going to feel that. That doesn't mean that the latency is unflyable and it's really bad and you'll notice it. 99% of pilots won't ever notice it. But flying on 500 Hertz is really, really special. Unfortunately, by flying on 500 Hertz, so we spoke yesterday, this number here, this dBm number, is where you'll fail safe. And it works in reverse. So you start at 0 and you fail safe at minus 112. So the lower your fail safe number, the less range. So by upping it to 250 Hertz, we've gone to 108 decibel. If we go all the way up to 1000, it's 104 decibels. And again, it's not a linear scale, so you've got to bear that in mind as well. Now, I fail-safe once on 500 Hertz, which is 105, in an abandoned power station, which I didn't think I was able to get in. Luckily, I was, and if I can put a video on the screen now, I will do. And that was caused purely by having this set too high and this set too low. So you need a balance. Now, my advice to you is if you're flying digital, 250 Hertz is more than enough. Some of my quads or some of my settings are even on 150 Hertz. I wouldn't go any lower to 50 or 100. I would set it to 250. Now, on your OSD, if you set up your dBm, you will have this number, whatever it is, on your screen. Coming down here to VTX power, 25 milliwatts is the legal limit in the UK. However, like I say, people do fly more. And what that will do is basically slow down you getting to minus 108. So the higher that power, the slower that minus 108 will happen. And that's for penetration and for range. So you need to find whatever is your perfect balance. Let's just put this into action for a second. So we're going to go back to the start. Okay, now up here, I'm going to plug in a new quad, so bear with me. Okay. So on this screen here, we've got widgets, and it's actually going to show me what my dBm value is, my decibels value. Oh, it should do anyway. Now, we have actually set up, there we go. So the dBm at the minute, because it's right next to the quad, is -9. -9. That's a really strong signal. Now you do also have your link quality, which I will go into on another video. I don't want to confuse too much in this video, but ultimately that is the difference in packet rates. That's how it affects the drone, and that's my advice. If you're flying analog and you can go higher than 25 milliwatts, my advice to you would be to go to 500 hertz. And if you're flying digital, my advice would be have it set like this. So 250 hertz, and have this figure whatever you're comfortable with your regulations in your country. I know someone who's not me, who flies, let me show you, not me, but they set their radio like this. So they set it to 1000 milliwatts, but they set it to dynamic. And what that does is as exactly as you would expect. Sorry, you have to set the dynamic on first. Exactly as you would expect. So it will start at 25 milliwatts, and as you go further and further away and the signal degrades, it will continually increase power until it gets to 1000 milliwatts. That's probably, depending on the regulations where you live, the best way of doing this. And that is all about packet rates and how they affect your signal and how they affect your controls within ELRS and Edge TX. So let's move on to how we can update. So your first job is going to go to your PC or your Mac, and you're going to type in ELRS Configurator, and then you're going to install the ELRS Configurator. Come to this web page, click on ELRS Configurator. It takes you into GitHub, and depending on what you're using, depends on the version that you need to download. But this is the one. I need an exe because I'm running Windows. It takes a second to download. There's all different types, obviously, and then there's different versions, but this is the most up-to-date one. This is 1.1.7. So it takes a second to download. How big is it? 174 meg. So it's not a very big program. Then you're going to want to install it, and I will go through this process, and I apologise if you know how to install a PC program, but there are people out there that do ask for this level of help, and I'm personally more than happy to provide it. I'll try and put chapters in to make sure that anybody who doesn't want to watch this doesn't need to. So you click on what's been downloaded, it opens up this window. If you have multiple people, click on anyone who uses this computer, or if it's just you, just click only for me. Leave this as default and just press install. And it is literally as simple as that. Once it's installed, it'll place a icon on your desktop. Maybe a way of helping me speak possibly in the future as well, but maybe just not today. So we've got nothing to do while this installs, so we'll come back in a second. So we're now at the next part, and if we click finish, it will automatically run the configurator for us. And now we've got a few options as to what we can do. So obviously we've got different versions of ELRS here. We've got different ways of doing this, and I'm going to try and show you a few different ways. Now, you're going to need to know what your receiver is. If you don't know what your receiver is, we can then go to the website that I've shown you how to activate by leaving your receiver in bind mode, or in Wi-Fi mode, sorry, by just leaving it without a controller connected to it. It'll then start to flash blue really fast, and it'll be in Wi-Fi mode, and we can go to that web page. What we'll do is we'll put this controller in Wi-Fi mode because it's here in front of me and it's just a bit easier. And we've done this before. But for the benefit of doubt, so we just press enable Wi-Fi there. And we need to know what it is that we're updating. So if we then just nip in to the Wi-Fi settings, and up will pop ELRS TX any second. He says hopeful. What this will now tell us is we've got a jumper, Aeon T15 2.4 GHz TX, and that's what we need to select in here. So if we want to update it this way, we find jumper on this list, and it's jumper 2.4 GHz, remember. And then what did it say? It was an Aeon T15 2.4 gigahertz TX. So that's how you establish what it is that you're going to be flashing. Now it's going to give me errors saying, I can't find the downloads and stuff because we're not connected to the internet. We're currently connected to this. So we can deal with that in a second. That's not a problem. Okay. So my advice now, and you can update on this web page, so you can download a file and update on this web page. But my advice would be, first of all, we need to download the file that we need. So we know what we need. We just now need to find it. So let's turn the jumper off. Okay. So it'll take a second for the Wi-Fi to then kick back in. And what we may need to do is just select something else and then select what we actually need. Okay. Now, if you are updating from a major release, so 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, so on and so forth, you will need to download a new Lua script. But we're not going to do that because we're already on 3.x. Okay. You've then got different options, so we can already tell it our Wi-Fi name and our Wi-Fi password, so that when we enable Wi-Fi, it will automatically connect to us, so we don't have to be creating a new network. That's probably something you want to do. So first things first, let's plug it in. I will need to re-add the binding phrase, of course. So select serial, and that will create a serial connection, and that will pop up in this box. If you remember, there was nothing in this box. Now, because we are flashing it again, we won't have a binding phrase, but we already know what our binding phrase is. So rather than having to add it manually later, we can actually add it here, and it will write the binding phrase in the new firmware. And there we go. Simple as that. And just check everything else is correct. So leave it on Edge TX pass-through. Jumper Aeon T15. Yep. Hit flash. And that should now, without too much of a problem, flash the new firmware. Now my camera looks like it's about to overheat. So if I do vanish for a second and come back with it all done, it's not because it's failed and I've tried to blag it. It is because I do have an overheating warning on my camera. There we go. So it is flashing now. And we're now going to have an updated version of Edge TX on this controller. And it literally is as easy as that. You may run into problems at times and need to run it through the web version, but this is 99.9% of the time the easiest way of doing it. Like I say, sometimes you will need to open up that web browser to find out what version, what model is inside your drone or controller, and that will help you do that. But we've done it. We've flashed a new version of Edge TX to our controller successfully, and it's taken us a few seconds. Let's move on. And by going back into your Lua script and checking at the bottom, you can see we've now flashed 3.5.3. So let's update a drone and do the same that way. Okay, so we are back and we've got the iFlight Nazgul Eco connected, and it's now in Wi-Fi mode. So I don't know what receiver's in this whatsoever. I've no idea what it's called, so I can't select it from that drop-down list. So what we do is we connect to the Wi-Fi of the receiver, and I think so it just tells me that it's iFlight 2.4 gigahertz RX. So it should be that simple. So let's remember that, and we're going to actually flash it this way, but we'll copy and paste that just in case we forget, because I am old. And we'll just reconnect to our own Wi-Fi. And then we'll go into here. So we're looking for iFlight. There we go. God damn it. iFlight. And what did it say it was called? Can't remember. So iFlight 2.4 gigahertz RX. iFlight 2.4 gigahertz RX. There it is. Simple as that. No problems. Again, we've got the bind phrase there already because we've used this program now, so it will remember it. All the other settings are the same. So we're going to select Wi-Fi. And once we've selected Wi-Fi, we can come down here and we're going to click build. So we're going to let it build. And then what we're going to do is we're going to download it. Right. So we've now got the firmware bin. Leave that window open. Don't do anything else. Go back into your Wi-Fi and reconnect to ExpressLRS. So go back into the web browser and go to update. Now, what you can do is that file that it's just spat out in the most random locations, because if we look, it's in app data, local, temp, like you're never going to find that. If we now just click and drag that to where it says choose file and drop it, it's now got the firmware. And we press update, it will update this via the Wi-Fi. So you can do it using the configurator like I've just shown, or you can do it this way. And it's literally updating the drone over Wi-Fi. And that's it. Successful. Simple as that. It literally is as simple as that. Now the firmware revision was 3.3.0. So let's reboot this, come back in here and reconnect and make sure that that now says 3.5.3. Now we are back and we are connected to Wi-Fi. We're going to check to make sure that it's updated to 3.5.3. Again, don't need to do anything else, just connect to Wi-Fi and it will bring up the web page. And the web page will tell us at the top what version it is, and it's 3.5.3. So we've updated from 3.30 to 3.5.3, and it's as easy as that. I know that it seems really complicated on the face of it, and anything in life is really complicated until you know how to do it. I've shown you how to do it with the configurator, and I've shown you how to do it using a web page. Whichever way you feel most comfortable with is the right way. Don't let anybody tell you you've got to do it this way or you've got to do it that way. I use both methods depending on how I'm feeling. It literally is your choice, personal choice. Whatever you're comfortable with doing, that's how you need to do it. My advice is, if you are going to use the Wi-Fi version more often than not, when you build it in the configurator, just add your Wi-Fi SSID. So that means your Wi-Fi name and your Wi-Fi password. That will just help you connect to it much easier without having to flick between networks, and you'll still have the internet and so on and so forth. Just you know, again, it is personal preference, and ultimately do it in a way that makes perfect sense to you. As far as I'm concerned, that is lesson number 2 done. You've all done really well. You can all go and get yourself a nice drink, pat yourselves on the back, and I'll see you tomorrow for lesson number 3.